just want to figure out what we should do. I mean, this jump is like, wow. Guys, wait, what, I mean, what y'all think about this? So, what y'all think about this drum? Do you think is this drum might be? Do you think this drum might be? What y'all think about drum sightings? I know this drum looks like it's big drum, you know. Like, do you think it could be China maybe? You know, could be China, maybe. Could be Indian, could be Indian, you know. You know what I mean? This drum is like, let's say, this drum is big drum, like big. I talk about big drum. That's a right drum. It has lights on it, and I want to know if, see, I just want to see, so the pictures, I'm just looking at the pictures of these drums, I saw some pictures. It could be like, you know, bunch of drums. I mean, if like drums in New Jersey, if drums fight over New Jersey, do you think it's more drums, like more drums in the big cities? Like, do you think more drums like this of flying around Dallas, California? Like, do you think this might be? I mean, if these drums are flying in New Jersey, do you think it could fly in New York City, or Dallas, or Oklahoma? Like how we know that? How we know these drums are not like hostile drums? You know, like, oh, these drums might be spy drums. You know what I mean? Could happen. It could happen. This might be big drum. I mean, you saw these drums on the news. Yes, I saw like on social media. I saw drums. You know what I mean? Like, this is so crazy, man. So I'm just thinking. I was thinking if this mean. We need to find out why these drums are like flying in New Jersey. If these drums are flying in New Jersey, if that happens, do you think these drums are flying else big cities? Like spying on cities, maybe? Could. I mean, like, I just want to know what y'all think about this. What y'all think about this? You know what I mean? Like, what y'all think about this? And also, if you like my content, if y'all like my content, sub please. If you like my content, please sub my content. Subscribe, sub, push that like button. It's like, it's just crazy, man. Like, New Jersey has drums. I mean, are UFOs maybe? Drums maybe? Could drums? Boom, boom, boom. I mean, how do you know? How do you know this drums is in different kinds of cities? I mean, I bet this drums could be in bunch of cities. You know what I mean? And I want to know who is behind this. I want to know who's behind this drum. I want to know who is firing these drums. I mean, like, is someone's behind firing these drums? What's the names? We need the proof. We need proof. We need to know who's this people are firing this drum behind this, you know. We shouldn't need it's bottle with it. See some more. Let's do. So, I see now. I guess it's crazy why we see Jones. Jones are like right now I'm on subs. Right now I have season 1 subs right now. I need more subs. I'm on let's do that one.
It's called Pi, and if that sounds familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen their ads everywhere. It's an ad blocker that works on Twitch, YouTube, Amazon, and everywhere else you go on Chrome. And if that seems too good to be true, it's not. Over 500,000 people have
Drones have been hovering over New Jersey, and no one appears to know why or what's going on there. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy sharing that dozens of drone sightings were called in on Sunday night alone. However, many of the reports are believed to be of the same object. Some of those sightings stretching into Philadelphia.
That's it. I was just looking to see police. Police. See, this is the
Hey everyone, it's Danny again from DSLR Pros, and today I want to give you a brief overview of our DJI Matrice 300 RTK Ultimate Police Drone Package. This bundle is designed specifically for law enforcement and is adaptable to nearly any situation that they might encounter. At the heart of the package is the Matrice 300 drone with the ZenMuse H20 and FLIR TZ20 cameras, which together pack a 23x optical zoom and a 20x thermal camera. We'll also include a dual gimbal mount, an upward gimbal mount, to be able to attach the optional Wingsland Z15 spotlight, which is great for lighting up large areas. Also included are Fox Fury's Rugo R1S lighting system that can be used to simulate red and blue police lights, or for supplemental lighting. For controlling the M300, included are 2 smart controllers, so the UAV can be operated by 1 or 2 operators, depending on the scenario. For all this tech, you're going to need some battery power to keep you in the air. For that, we'll include 8 batteries for the M300 and 4 batteries for the smart controllers, which is good for nearly 4 hours of flight time without even needing to recharge. When you do need to charge your batteries, you'll have the BS60 battery charging station, which is enclosed in a convenient case and is able to charge 8 drone batteries and 4 remote control batteries all at once. Also available with this kit as options are a loudspeaker attachment and the Drop Master payload drop system. For drone transportation, storage, and protection, you'll receive a rolling hard case for the entire package and the DJI Enterprise Protection Plan. This will give you peace of mind that your investment is well protected in case of an accident. For your software needs, we'll include a Pix4D React 1-year subscription and an AirData fleet management and streaming bundle. If you're
No. That's how Bristol likes to sit.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. With equipment for every workout, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. Join today.
Drones should be red and green. That means they are connected to the controller.
Like everyone else in New Jersey, drone pilot Mike Anella is trying to decipher the recent mysterious sightings.
This?
aha. I figured it out. That is
Solid green. That's highly unusual.
He's been using commercial drones from his own business, New Jersey Drone Shots, to take video of the unidentified craft. Some turn out to be just regular planes flying into Newark.
We could tell by the tail and the logo it was a United Airlines flight.
But others he can't explain and says they're not ordinary drones.
I wouldn't even think how to transport them. They're huge. They're the size of cars. The light pattern is very unusual, and the way that they're flying so low is not understanding.
He also doesn't understand how they managed to stay airborne for so long, especially now.
It takes a lot of more power to operate a drone in the cold. I can get about 45 minutes in the air just hovering with my drone. These drones are up in the air for more than 2 hours.
Perhaps the most puzzling part is why we still don't have answers. Anela says the skies are closely regulated, and flying over a sensitive space like Picatinny Arsenal would attract attention fast.
If I took one of my drones over one of those areas, I would have law enforcement on me in probably 10 seconds.
Until we know what's going on, he's cautious about where he flies and hopes it doesn't impact his business.
We want answers. Because effectively, I want to make sure I can feel safe to fly.
Reports of mysterious drone sightings continue throughout New Jersey, especially in several North Jersey communities where some neighbors say they've had nightly visits from unmanned vehicles since mid-November. The Federal Aviation Administration has imposed drone flight restrictions while the FBI investigates. But so far, no one is offering up an explanation for who or what is behind them. As Ted Goldberg reports, that's not enough for some rattled residents and lawmakers who are demanding answers.
I ran outside, looked up, and there it is. It's huge. It's loud. You can't miss it.
The mysterious Jersey drones have been the talk of Mendham for a few weeks now. Curious residents are wondering what's flying around their night skies.
I sit in my hot tub. I watch the planes fly, so I know what the planes look like. This is not a plane.
It's not following a regular flight pattern, and they have a tendency to stop and hover at different times, and you can hear them. You can hear something other than like a loud engine. It's more of a hum or a buzz.
Mayor Christine Serrano-Glassner wants answers, and she's far from alone.
We understand that this is quite possibly our federal government, could be state government, and we know that there are certain things that maybe they can't share. But at this point, we want to know, is that them?
I spoke with people in Mendham who wonder if the drones are controlled by the government or the military.
Nobody's interfering with them. The state, the local, and the federal government is interfering. I'm guessing it's the Department of Defense.
I have really no concern whatsoever. All the residents want to know about it. They want to know, but sometimes some things are kept, better secret if it's they're doing stuff to protect us or to, possibly have a plan in case something does happen like has happened in other countries.
I hear a lot of conspiracy theories. It's in our politics today, too, so you can make conspiracy theories up about drones, too.
So this isn't E.T. coming from his home planet to say hello?
I don't think so. I think we're just fine.
I think it's for our protection and our safety, so I'm not worried about it. But I wish that Governor Murphy would be more forthcoming. I'm sure he knows what's going on, and he's told not to talk about it.
Governor Phil Murphy spoke with reporters Monday, saying he's talked with the Department of Homeland Security, the Secret Service, the FBI, and state police. Murphy says there's no active threat.
We don't see any concern for public safety. That's number one. Number two, having said that, it's really frustrating that we don't have more answers as to where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing.
The outrage over a lack of information has been bipartisan.
We just want some answers. We need to know what's going on. We need to know why it's there. And we need to know for certain what, if any, risk it poses. And if the answer is none, we need to be able to tell people with a straight face why that is.
There's been not enough information disclosed to the public from federal law enforcement officials and the agencies who are chiefly responsible for monitoring drone activity. That's why I've written to the FBI, to the Department of Homeland Security, and the FAA, asking them to immediately brief the public on the recent drone activity.
Congressman Josh Gottheimer isn't the only gubernatorial candidate demanding action. State Senator John Bramnick has proposed banning drones statewide until the public gets an explanation. Mayor Glassner is one of 15 mayors in Morris County.
These drones have been peering in their windows.
The Army says 11 drones were spotted over Picatinny Arsenal in Morris County over the last few weeks. They say the Army isn't flying them, only adding to the mystery developing in our skies. In Mendham, I'm Ted Goldberg, NJ Spotlight News.
All right, I've got to weigh in on this whole New Jersey drone situation because as a Philadelphia resident that flies drones every day for fun and for work, I've been getting nonstop calls, texts, emails, direct messages. Even my own family is reaching out to me wondering what is going on in the skies of New Jersey. Now, for reference, in case you don't know who I am or if you haven't seen any of my work online, maybe you've just clicked on this video because you're interested in the weird drone sightings above New Jersey and you want more information. Well, hi, my name is Billy Kyle and I've been an aerial photographer and videographer for over 8 years. Now, as I mentioned, I do this for fun. So when I'm traveling, I bring my drone with me and I capture the views of the areas I visit from the air. Of course, I share these on my YouTube channel, my other social media platforms like Instagram and X, but this is also something I do every day for work. So I primarily work with real estate agents as well as construction companies to document the projects that they're working on, creating digital marketing to help them move their business forward. You know, I feel like the real reason I'm even making this video is so that in the future, when I get messages from friends, family, or maybe somebody random on the internet that wants to know what's going on with these weird drones above New Jersey, I can copy and paste the link to this video and send it to them instead of having to type out this whole long message about my thoughts and feelings. So let's take it from the top. I think it was November 12th was the first report of these weird lights at nighttime that people said were drones flying above New Jersey that were unidentifiable. Now, just to give you some reference, what most people fly, whether they're a consumer flyer, a hobbyist, or if they're a commercial drone flyer, is this drone right here. This is a Mavic 3 Pro, and most drones resemble this same form factor. Now, this drone specifically has 4 total LEDs on it, so 4 total lights. It's got 2 head LEDs and 2 rear LEDs that help you determine the orientation at nighttime and determine the status of the drone. So they'll blink depending on what flight mode you're in, depending on what the battery is at. So it blinks depending on the status of the drone, different colors. So me, as the person down on the ground, can look up and know what's going on with the drone at a quick glance. Now, I've also got a bright auxiliary LED built into the drone just under there that emits a really strong light downward. So when the drone lands, it can see the ground and come to a soft landing. And then by FAA rules and regulations, I've got to fly with a strobe on the top of my drone that can be seen from 3 statute miles away. So this is for myself to be able to see the drone at nighttime, but for other manned aircraft up in the air. Now, notice how all of these drones have only been seen at nighttime because people look up into the sky, they see lights, and they think it's a weird object, a weird drone, and trust me, I have plenty of experience over the years flying my drone of the cops getting called, people confronting on me, people wanting to know if I'm spying on them. There has been so many things that have happened to me over the years that I really couldn't even count the amount of times. But think about it, they've only been seen at nighttime. And when you look at some of the videos that have been taken of these weird glowing lights, most of them are literally airplanes. Like the most common individual that has no knowledge about drones, aircraft, airspace, or anything would be able to look at these aircraft that people quote unquote think are drones and know that they're a commercial flight landing at one of the nearby airports. Now here's how the cops being called on me for flying my drone illegally and the drones flying at nighttime with lights on them correlate. Now let's imagine I'm out taking photos of a residential property for sale, of a construction site being worked on, or of the city skyline for fun to share on my social media. I can totally understand how a bystander seeing a drone flying would feel a little bit uneasy. Like they'd be like, okay, there's a drone hovering there. I don't know what it's doing. It's got a camera on it and it might be looking at me. So they might call the police. Now, again, this happens all of the time. I just go up to the police. I share my ID with them. I give them my FAA Part 07, which is my commercial drone license. I give them any information they need. I tell them exactly what I'm doing and it instantly diffuses the situation. But look, I can understand why this technology, because it's so new, can creep people out and can also be a little bit uneasy when somebody just sees this drone hovering there and wonders what is going on. Now, for those of you that stumbled across this video and might not know what the drone rules and regulations are, one of them is that you need to keep the drone within visual line of sight. So I can't fly it beyond what my own eyes can see, which means I'm usually pretty close to where the drone is flying, which makes it very easy to tell exactly who's flying it. But don't you think if somebody had a malicious intent and was flying with the drone, they would be blocks away, they'd be miles away, they'd be 2 neighborhoods over, flying the drone over so that they can stay concealed, so that they're not near the drone when it's flying, so nobody knows who it is that's actually flying the drone. It just makes sense. If I've got a malicious intent with the drone, I'm not going to stand directly underneath of it. It just doesn't make any sense. Now this translates over to these drones flying at nighttime. Do you think that if they had any malicious intent, they'd be flying with their lights turned on? Don't you think that if it was these big custom drones that are coming from a foreign nation, that they would not include lights on them? Like, why would they have to try and comply with the FAA's regulations when they're here operating for nefarious reasons? It just totally doesn't make sense. Now, The real reason I want to make this video is because of comments made by Congressman Van Drew on a Fox News interview that he had. I'm not going to include that video here in this video because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but I will leave a link down below if you want to check out the full 3-minute long interview, where he basically says that these drones flying over New Jersey are coming from a mothership off of the East Coast that is controlled by Iran, who are sending drones over the United States to collect data. Now, again, if these drones are here for nefarious reasons, why would they put lights on them to be seen at nighttime? They'd be operating incognito so that nobody can see them or detect them. Again, all of these sightings come at nighttime, and none of them come during the daytime. Now, probably the worst and most unhinged thing that Van Drew says in this interview, and I quote, "These drones should be shot down." It's appalling that somebody in this position of power would go onto a public platform and call for the shooting down of an aircraft that we know nothing about. They're kind of like trying to rile up the public. Somebody might take in their own hands and go out and say, yeah, I see these blinking lights, let me go shoot at it, when it is a federal offense that comes with hefty fines and jail time potentially, depending on the severity of the incident. Like if you're just shooting down a drone, it's probably not going to be that crazy, but you shoot at a commercial airliner. I mean, we don't know what these blinking lights are. They could be anything from a hobbyist drone, a commercial drone, some sort of American technology, a home-built drone, a manned small little aircraft, somebody flying a 2-seater just for fun, all the way up to a commercial airliner flying people from Dallas up here to Philadelphia. I mean, seriously, it's just absolutely appalling that somebody would go onto the news in this position of power and call for the shooting down of these lights in the sky when we know nothing about them. Now, let me give you a quick little tip here. Go to the App Store on your phone and download Flight Radar 24. This is now your eyes in the sky, as you can see all of the manned aircraft and their live location as well as their speed and altitude in the air in real time. This is an awesome app that I use just to see if there's any manned aircraft around me when I'm flying my drone. I also like to track people's flights as they're coming into town so I know when to go pick them up from the airport. But if you're somebody out there at nighttime and you see lights up in the sky, and if you are just so convinced that it's some weird drone, please, I urge you to download this app, go and look at where the lights are, try to figure out where it could be on the map, point in that same direction, and figure out if it's some weird malicious drone or if it's just a manned aircraft that's got lights on so it doesn't crash with other manned aircraft in the air. So the big thing I'm worried about with this whole entire incident is the public's perception of drones. Trust me, I am not the coolest person on the block because I fly drones. In fact, some people probably think it's creepy that all I do is fly drones for fun and for work. Of course, they see all the photos and videos on my social media, on Instagram, and they're like, wow, that is awesome. But when I'm seen in public flying a drone, I just know people are like, look at that absolute weirdo, which is fine. Like, I have really no care in the world what people think of me, but I also don't want to be in a situation where anytime a drone is seen, there's always police showing up because people are afraid of them. It really just does take the drone industry down a peg when there's such widespread panic over the use of drones that people feel like they can't do anything about. Like when you take control away from somebody, they start to panic, and that's what it seems like is going on right now. These people have no idea what's going on, and they're going to read the news and just go with the absolute craziest thing that they see. Now, look, could there be drones in our airspace that we have no idea exist? Absolutely. Yes, these drones can go undetected. Could they be coming from a mothership off of the shore? Sure, they probably could, but I'm sure that we have technology in order to prevent things like this. So until we know exactly what these blinking lights are, I'm going to go with the logical thing and say that they're just commercial airliners or they're other planes flying through the sky, just trying to do their thing, do their work, do their job, have fun. And I don't think there's anybody that's doing anything malicious, because if they were, we probably wouldn't be able to see them. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you...
Drones over New Jersey. This just got a whole lot weirder. The U.S. Coast Guard and the United States Congress are having an emergency meeting about these today because they've been spotting them coming in and out of the Atlantic Ocean. That's right, they're not just being deployed from like a truck or van, the ocean. So the U.S. Coast Guard has been tracking these things, and they're coming out of the ocean. So they're either drones that are deployed from a submarine or something much stranger. So these are definitely not airplanes. It's either a big psyop or they're coming out of the water. I personally think that UFOs and UAP phenomena have been hiding underground, are part of archaeological digs, and have been hiding under the ocean in an alternate frequencies and ultra low frequencies in a parallel dimension for thousands of years. Are they extraterrestrials pretending to be human airplanes and mimicking us like some uncanny valley thing? Or are they advanced spy drones being launched from submarines? I don't know what you think, but this is really fascinating. This looks just like an airplane to me, but I have worked with astrophysicists, scientists, all kinds of people, and up and around Skinwalker Ranch, and this kind of weird phenomena, triangular, mimicking objects, things that not only mimic airplanes and craft in the sky, but sometimes creatures down on the ground even. So that's the question. Is this an advanced weapon system being launched from a submarine? I don't know. But the U.S. Coast Guard and the United States Congress are having meetings about this today because over 50 of them have been spotted coming in and out of the Atlantic Ocean. What's even crazier, Joey Diaz talked about this years ago.
What people don't know is that Hudson County, New Jersey, northern New Jersey, is the #1 place in the country where they have the most UFO sites.
This was 4 years ago.
Northern New Jersey. Look it up, Jamie, if you get a minute, please, not to be rude. But isn't that like near a couple airports? No, it's closer to like like when you live in New York City and you look at the Hudson River. They say that people on their balcony they're drinking coffee, they jump on the phone and they'll see a little flying saucer. Really? And I know for a fact that in 1976, whatever the fuck they are, I know for a fact that in 1975 and 1976, you could check me out on this. A UFO landed in Hudson County Park. I was a kid, and the next day the feds locked off the park. They had yellow tape. They had samples. Go look it up, dog. There's a UFO. You see that's called the North Bergen is where I'm from. That's called, I forget what it's called, but it's a circular building. So they did so much coke in there in the 80s, they called it the Grinder. That's what they called it because it was shaped like the Stonehenge. The Stonehenge. I have a couple of friends that lived there. People that lived in that building have seen UFOs for fucking years. And if you go to YouTube, there's an actual North Hudson Park UFO. They dug up, they came out, there's a liquor store. And the liquor store guy says he's seen the lights. You heard like the organ music that they play. They landed. A couple Martians got out and took samples and got back in the thing and took off. There's a YouTube thing, there's a History Channel special about it, and I still remember being a young kid. Did you find anything, Jamie? Not given. Yeah, that was what's popping up, all that stuff about that building and. Oh yeah, no. It's out. It says a UFO landed. That's the story I'm reading right now. Is what he's saying. Yeah. And witnesses, it's not just one guy that says I'm a UFO. It's people who got knocked on the door and said, did you see anything at 11:10 at night? And they said, you know what? There were lights flashing outside. They contacted police departments to see if there was any. They went full. And the FBI came in, circled the park, closed. It was by the Little League field in Hudson County. But it is, like you'd think it was Area 51, you'd think it was close to northern Las Vegas. The #1 place to see UFOs is northern New Jersey. They even made a reference to it in The Sopranos. When he said something, he goes, what are you talking about? Last week you said you seen a UFO in Hackensack. Because that's where they're at. Hackensack, Moonachie. Right. All those, you go to Moonachie, New Jersey. A lot of ugly people. A lot of people with big heads. The only good thing is Moonachie.
There you have it, Joey Diaz on the Joe Rogan podcast 4 years ago talking about these things, and now we've got the U.S. Coast Guard and the United States Congress holding emergency meetings because they've been following these things allegedly back into the Atlantic Ocean. Let me know down in the comments below, are these some kind of a spy drone that's being launched from a submarine? Are they holograms? Are they airplanes? Or is this something much, much stranger? I've been investigating buried archaeological dig UFO sites and this kind of phenomena for the last 5 years. If you want to know more, go subscribe to me on YouTube. Drones over New Jersey. The U.S. Congress and the Coast Guard are having meetings about this because they're being seen coming out of the Atlantic Ocean. Deborah says they came out today claiming that it's actually Iran, but the Pentagon has something different to say. So somebody's lying or misinformed here. This is what the Pentagon had to say. Here's the Pentagon Defense Department briefing, Sabrina, and she's answering the question right here. This is crazy.
Sabrina, can you tell me what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive installations. The FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our institutions populations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
So there you have it. Somebody's lying. Are these actually coming out of the Atlantic Ocean? We don't know what they are. This just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Let me know what you think down in the comments below.
Hello and welcome to Reality Check. I'm Ross Coulthart. Or should I say, welcome to the end, the official end, of what was meant to have been Alien Invasion Day. Yes, for weeks now on the internet there's been speculation that there was going to be some kind of alien invasion, based on a prediction that 39 days from the interview between President-elect Donald Trump and Joe Rogan, there was going to be some kind of conflict between humans and aliens. Well, for all we know, that might actually be happening, because whilst we're talking, there is, over the skies of the world, the most extraordinary display of something, objects in our skies, the frequency of which I've never had reported to me to such an extent before. It's off the charts. It's absolutely amazing to be receiving reports, as I am hourly, minute by minute, from people in countries all over the world who are saying that they are seeing objects, strange objects, glowing luminous orbs, orange orbs, blue triangular shaped objects hovering over often sensitive military facilities. Now, of course, the biggest area of reports has been in the United Kingdom in recent weeks, and we know that over some of the most sensitive bases in the UK, RAF Lakenheath, RAF Feltwell, bases where the United States allegedly stores nuclear weapons, there have been sightings of strange drone-like craft for some time. Now, why do I say drone-like craft? Well, I only say that because intelligence community sources have been in my ear for some time, assuring me that these are not aliens, they're not unidentified anomalous phenomena. They are reportedly, according to intelligence insiders, known foreign adversarial drones. They must be highly advanced drones based on what I'm hearing, but the claim is that they are foreign adverse drones, foreign adversarial nation drones. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily believe everything I'm told by members of the intelligence community, and I think we're entitled to be sceptical in this case. Not least because we know from intercepted military communications, before they were digitised and encrypted when they realised their comms were being monitored, some of the clever skywatchers around RAF bases in the United Kingdom picked up on the fact that at least one pilot was referring to UAPs, not drones. So if the pilots themselves that are being sent up to intercept these objects perceive them as unidentified anomalous phenomena, not drones. What aren't we being told? And that's the bigger issue here. As Ryan Graves from Americans for a Safe Aerospace has told us repeatedly, he's the former pilot who was involved in the extraordinary spate of sightings off the East Coast involving deployments in training exercises where they witnessed weird, anomalous objects. He's been warning for a while that we need to know for sure that our aerospace is safe. And at the moment, the US government, quite transparently, and neither can the British government, my country, the Australian government, give that assurance in the face of what we are seeing in our skies. For 2 weeks plus now, I think it's up to 16, 17 days, there have been sightings of craft of some kind. Some of them apparently do have an audio signature that is consistent with some kind of propeller or helicopter blade. They're not jet turbine, but they are hovering in some cases for many, many hours at an end, basically continuing to hover over very sensitive military facilities with apparent impunity. Now, whatever you say about whether these are UAPs or drones, that's an issue. That's a national security concern. And some of the people in the national security complex would basically say that's a threat, because until we know what they are, they are, by definition, a threat. And so, whilst people often get accused of pushing a threat narrative about unidentified objects, that's what they're talking about here. And I think that's the big issue here that a lot of people, including most of the mainstream media, are missing. Let's compare what happened in February last year, in 2023. One Chinese spy balloon set the entire US media and the Congress into hysterics. They went off their rocker with concern about this unwarranted intrusion into American aerospace. And we still don't know what the remaining 3 objects were that were shot down over, I think there was Alaska, then there was the Yukon, and then there were 2 parts of the United States, the main continental United States. But there's still a mystery over 3 of those objects. What the hell were they? We still don't know. Has the media been inquisitive about it? Not at all. That's the issue here. Why was there a hullabaloo and a big alert and concern about those objects and not these current objects that are still hovering with impunity over some of the most sensitive military facilities on the planet? And right now, we are teetering, sadly, on the edge of a third world war. It's not an overstatement to say that we are in very dangerous times. And I suspect that this is the real backdrop to why we're not being told what's going on. I think the US knows full well what these objects are, be they foreign adversary drones or UAPs. I still think that's a possibility. But if it is a foreign adversary drone and they're operating with impunity over our airspace, over sensitive military facilities, not only is that a national security concern for the United States and for the United Kingdom to directly accuse, say, Russia or China, which I'm told is more likely, to say that China has been deploying drones over sensitive British air bases is tantamount to accusing China of an act of war. And that's why we don't want to identify, that's what I'm being told at least, that's why we don't want to identify the foreign adversary nation that we suspect is involved in this. Some people are suggesting it's Russian, but my friends from Polish intelligence tell me they doubt the Russians have anything like this kind of drone technology, which appears to be able to intercept to avoid intercepting jet fighters. There's a great image, I honestly can't vouch for its authenticity, but there's a great video of what is alleged by one of the Skywatchers to be an F-16 fighter approaching one of these luminous orbs at high altitude, and you see the orb zoom off in the face of the advancing F-16 jet. So are these drones, if they are drones, really faster than F-16 jets? Because if that's the case, it means there's a genuine issue of national security concern here, because these objects don't appear to have the kind of propulsion systems we're used to for drones, and they seem to be displaying full lights. They're showing, in many cases, what some people describe as navigation lights, but which one source of mine is suggesting might in fact be ISR sensors, perhaps some kind of intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance sensor that's being used over these sensitive bases. Is it a coincidence that just a few months ago we were told that the United States would be forward deploying nuclear weapons because of the heightening tensions with Russia into some of these UK bases? Is that why a potential foreign adversary, or maybe something stranger, something more anomalous, is now taking a close interest in these bases? We simply don't know, but I can tell you the conspicuous thing is the absence of any comment by either the United States or the British Royal Air Force. It's like they've decided to clam up. And that's concerning. There are reports, for example, that the SAS, the Special Air Service, and the Special Boat Service, two of Britain's most elite military regiments, have been deployed around some of these bases to try and capture the suspected criminal enterprises that are launching these drones from adjacent forests. But if that's the case, why haven't we caught any? And add to that what we're seeing at the moment is a spate of drone sightings, not just in the United Kingdom, or supposed drone sightings. We're seeing anomalous objects, strange unidentified objects, over countries all over the world. My inbox has exploded in the last few days. I'm getting messages from Russia, Kazakhstan, China, across Southeast Asia, Japan, where people are reporting to me sightings of anomalous, strange objects that the governments are calling drones in some cases, but which are not explainable as known drones. And so the big issue is, what the hell are they? And we just simply don't know. That's a concern. Here's one, for example. We were told that the British aircraft carrier HMS Elizabeth in Germany, on the 22nd of November, there was a security incident at the port of Hamburg when the Queen Elizabeth was docked under heavy protection. The German armed forces had a secure military zone around the vessel with Homeland Security forces, and they reported a suspicious sighting of a 1.5 metre by 1.5 metre reconnaissance drone hovering over the 284 metre long aircraft carrier. They confirmed the incident, the Bundeswehr, and identified the drone as likely engaged in espionage activities. They deployed, and this is the crucial thing, they deployed what's called HP-47 jamming equipment, capable of emitting signals to disrupt and neutralise drones by forcing them to either land or return to their operators. But that attempt to intercept the drone was unsuccessful. So the bottom line is, whoever it is that's operating these craft, these objects, over very sensitive military facilities, not just in the UK, but also clearly in Europe, Germany, and in multiple other countries around the world, including continuing reports in the continental USA. The people that are doing this are not being caught. They're operating with obvious impunity. And moreover, the technology that they are using is not susceptible to the known drone interdiction technology, which normally involves firing a signal at the craft and intercepting the signal that disrupts the operator's control of that drone. One thing that I am told is that we cannot use broad spectrum high pulse microwave weapons on these objects over sensitive military airspace. And that's because obviously there are fighter aircraft and other aircraft operating in the vicinity. One thing I know, and interestingly enough, I know this from people who tell me that HPMs, these high pulse microwaves, have been used against known non-human technology. One of the risks in deploying these weapons is that if you fire them in the vicinity of a UAP, you knock out every aircraft in the vicinity. And so you can't do that over sensitive military airspace when you've got your own fighters in the air. But that doesn't explain a lot to me, because I know, for example, there's a company that's just set up. It's a US company called Anduril, Anduril, and they have fantastic anti-drone technology, and including something called the Fury, which, if you look on their website, demonstrates a capacity to, at extremely high speed, knock out individual drones or UASs that are intercepted inside sensitive military airspace. That's what these are purpose-built for. Your governments and mine have funded these anti-drone, anti-US operations at a cost of many hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars over the last few years, and I think we're entitled to ask, why the hell isn't it working? If these so-called drones are attempted to be being intercepted by the Americans and or the British, and we know that the British Army has deployed special elite units that are meant to be involved in counter-drone efforts, why haven't we seen one brought down? There is, I admit, one report by a local woman that says that she's aware that a drone was brought down, I think over RAF Lakenheath, RAF-based Lakenheath. But if that's the case, we've seen no official confirmation of that. And it could very well be that the reason why they're not confirming it is because they don't want to essentially put themselves in a declaration of war with whatever the foreign nation is that was responsible for deploying this technology. Because the moment that you do identify that foreign adversary nation, you are essentially declaring that they have committed an act of war against your nation. And with national sensitivities the way they are at the moment, the last thing I think either Britain or the US want to do is precipitate any kind of confrontation with Russia or China. Could it be, perhaps, that China has developed technologies that are far in advance of what the Russians have, and that what they are trying to do is provoke a conflict between the Russians and the Western world? Is that possible? Would they do such a dastardly thing? Certainly it's being suggested to me that these drones, if that's what they are more likely Chinese than Russian. And apparently we know this because of the very distinct audio signatures on these purported craft. Add to that the fact that, don't forget, just a few weeks ago, there was a very extraordinary incident where a Chinese vessel, which is almost certainly linked to the PLA, the Chinese army, was involved in dropping its anchor and dragging its anchor and snagging and severing very important internet cables in and around Scandinavia. Now, that incident still is largely unreported. It's an effective act of war by what we suspect is a Chinese army vessel, controlled at least by one crew member who is Russian. Why has there not been any attempt to board that boat? And I suspect the answer is because we don't want to provoke international tensions any more than they are at the moment. So let's put the drone issue to one side for a moment. Let's not ignore the fact that there clearly is still, separately from the drone issue, there have been for many months now, and we've reported on this in Reality Check, anomalous objects clearly identified as anomalous by pilots and military personnel operating over very sensitive military facilities, particularly in the United States. And one of the reports that we did was reports of anomalous objects being seen by locals over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. And the Air Force, of course, has persisted in maintaining that these are drones. But not one shred of evidence has been presented to supply any proof at all that these are drones. In fact, the Pentagon has conspicuously failed to provide any proof at all to back up its claim that these objects are drones. You might recall a few weeks ago I did an interview with the Tedesco brothers, John and Jerry Tedesco, who do a lot of research off Long Island, and they are, I think, probably foremost as technical experts in an understanding of anomalous objects that are being seen on very sensitive air routes in and out of JFK Airport coming into New York. And they're aware of a lot of the orbs that are now being seen in and around New Jersey, off the Long Island coast, and they continue to maintain that these objects are not drones. They do not comply. They're not consistent with any known drone technology. They do move in anomalous ways. And what they're seeing and recording on their hyperspectral cameras and their numerous other sensor systems that they've paid for themselves, they're not US government funded, they are raising a very serious question. And I note, as this goes to air, it's just been reported on NBC that the objects are again being seen over New Jersey this evening. And that's very interesting because the FBI is now involved. The FBI has approached John and Jerry Tedesco, and I know that they are taking an interest in the New Jersey sightings as well. There are some very sensitive homes under New Jersey, including, I think, one associated with the incoming president. I wonder if that's just a coincidence. Is somebody sending a message? Or something sending a message? We simply don't know because our governments aren't telling us, and more importantly, our media is not curious enough to continue asking the question. And that's the issue. The issue, yet again, is the failure of much of the mainstream media to question the drone assertion. If the Pentagon spokesperson gets up and says that these are drones being seen over US and UK and other countries' very sensitive military facilities, over the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier in a dock in Hamburg in Germany, that's a national security threat. That's a bigger threat than any kind of balloon being seen over the continental USA in February 2023, as we know. So why isn't it being aggressively reported and investigated by the media? Well, because much of the media allows itself to be tamely led by the nose by their intelligence sources. They don't want to burn their sources who are giving them cosy little stories about Ukraine, about Russia, and they're allowing themselves actively to be misled. The same organisations that misreported on COVID and misreported on the Iraq War and have misreported on intelligence issues for much of the last 60 or 70 years. It's time for the public to start asking questions itself, to start doing our own research, our own independent investigation. And to that effect, I want to commend some work done by an organisation called Enigma Labs, with whom I had a very brief flirting association. I got to know them really well in their very early days, but they've done some great work. They've been investigating the orbs and spheres that have been seen over the continental USA, and they made a point of mentioning that in Arrow's November report, they showed that orbs and spheres are frequently reported, with most sightings occurring between 15,000 to 25,000 feet. And what they went on to report, that they've been speaking regularly with fighter pilots, active service fighter pilots at US Air Force bases. And these men and women are telling Enigma, anecdotally, that the sightings of these metallic-looking spheres in particular are concerningly still continuing. Often multiple times a day they're appearing when they're flying and doing training exercises. They're saying, again consistent with what Arrow told the Pentagon and told Congress, they're appearing between 24,000 and 28,000 feet, which is a lot higher than most commercial drones. If this is a foreign adversary actor, it's using technology far beyond what we know commercial drones are capable of. Now, we know that those kind of long-range, long-distance drones exist because the US has been using such autonomous drones for a very long time in warfare. But it does raise the possibility or probability, if this is a foreign adversary, that these are extremely grave incursions. But it gets more interesting in what Enigma reveals. They did an analysis on these spheres and orbs to see what they could learn, and they discovered that there's been an incredible number, a total of 6,226 total orb or sphere sightings were submitted to the Enigma Skywatching Network between December 2022 to September 2024. So that's just under 2 years. 6,226. And when they ruled out ones that were a little bit more uncertain, there were 4,467 approved orb sightings that they were able to confirm were genuine sightings. But this is the good part. When they drilled down further, they found 322 metallic orb sightings. They were metallic, metal or silver orbs. Now, Reality Check fans will recall that we've taken a very, very close interest in these metallic orbs. I've reported on a guy in Texas who claims that he has a silver sphere, which he has seen operating and moving under its own steam. And I've had, since then, a ridiculous number of people contact me from all over the world who tell me that they've been seeing metallic spheres across Europe, Eastern Europe, Africa, India, Australia, and a lot of the continental USA. But have a listen to some of this more information from Enigma, because there's been a lot of metallic spheres reported by military pilots adjacent to or over very, very sensitive US, continental USA military bases. So at the Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Fort Worth, Enigma reports on the 1st of August 2023, a metallic sphere was seen flying low, then disappeared into the sky. Near Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State in May 2023, a silver grey sphere flying at low altitude. July 2024, a 3-foot-high shiny oval. January 2024, a silver ball following a plane. Several sightings also near Eglin Air Force Base, which we've reported on, in Florida, June the 4th, 2024. Silent silver orbs in formation. And again, June 12th, silent silver craft appears after a flash. Now, John and Jerry Tedesco, who we reported on from Long Island, they got an intriguing image of what looks like an orb literally tailing a commercial aircraft as it either exited or entered JFK Airport on the approaches to New York. This is a concern. These are objects operating inside highly sensitive airspace. God help us if there's a collision involving one of these objects and a commercial or military aircraft. That's why this is an issue. That's why Ryan Graves' Americans for a Safe Aerospace is such an important initiative. And that's why civilian and military pilots need to stop worrying about the stigma and start reporting these objects more. So it's to be applauded, frankly, that Enigma's getting reports like these. And I'd certainly like to hear from anyone who's seeing these metallic orbs in particular. They're very interesting because they have no visible means of propulsion. They don't display a heat signature showing either a propeller or a jet turbine. Nobody can see a seam on them. Nobody can explain how these things propel themselves, but multiple people are seeing them in our skies. Why do we continue to ignore this as a national security issue? We jump up and down and get hysterical about Chinese balloons entering American aerospace in February 2023, but we don't talk about metallic spheres. Why is the media allowing itself to be so controlled and gagged? Why doesn't somebody at the White House briefings for the president or the Pentagon briefings develop a spine or a new pair and actually start asking questions? Well, hang on a moment. What is all this? What are these drones? If you say these are drones, why do you say they are drones? What evidence have you got they are drones? If these are metallic orbs or spheres being seen by your pilots, and if you think that's nonsense, why are you putting pilots in charge of $100 million aircraft if you think they're lunatics? This is the issue. It's time for the media to start asking seriously aggressive and hard questions, because we are being misled and lied to. That's the issue. So please keep your sightings coming in. I am overwhelmed. I'm very, very interested to hear more. And I can tell you there's something in this. But at the moment, I'm not ruling out the likelihood that these are foreign adversarial drones that have developed some kind of advanced technology that is able to operate with impunity over some of the most sensitive airspace in the world. If that's the case, it's a huge concern. It's actually, frankly, it's a bigger concern if it's Russia or China than it is if it's friendly aliens. Because if it was aliens, and if they were malevolent or ill-disposed, I'm pretty sure they could have wiped us out a while back. So what else are we talking about on Reality Check this week? Well, as you know, I've been in Egypt for the last few weeks. It's been a fascinating journey, and I've got a lot to report. We're preparing a couple of shows which will be going to air in the next few weeks. But in the interim, I thought it was time, because of the mounting number of questions I'm getting on my website and on my YouTube channel, I thought it was time I started addressing some of the questions that people have long been asking. So let's deal with some of those, the Q&As from our audience. The first one is from @ZSKI1. Do we know if these are high-tech military drones and UAPs have flashing lights, and no one is questioning that? He makes the point. Absolutely right. Look, we've kind of addressed that already. We don't know if these are high-tech military drones. My sources are telling me they are. I don't necessarily believe them, and I think we should be sceptical. I mean, in one of the cases I've seen, you've seen a F-16 jet reportedly engaging with what looks like a luminous orb, and presumably the jet is operating at near supersonic speeds, and that orb was able to outstrip the speed of that jet considerably. Explain that, please, with known drone technology. One question that comes up next is from AUGGIED6760. One question that is not asked is, who protects and conceals UFO and alien evidence? Who does this, and who carries on with this suppression in successive generations? Who heads and operates this covert and secret organisation? Okay, let me be on the level here and say that if you'd asked me that question 3 or 4 years ago, I would have thought you were a raving lunatic, a tinfoil hat nutter. I now think your question is entirely reasonable, because I do believe that there is a cabal of individuals, and they are individuals. They're not departments or entities, they are individuals, carefully selected individuals, who believe that they are entrusted with a national secret and they're determined to keep it, even if it's operating illegally in defiance of the oversight rules of Congress. I think there are people in the US Air Force who know full well that we are being visited by a non-human intelligence. How do we explain the statement that was made by Dr. John Kozlowski, the new and very well spoken for incoming director of AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, who gave evidence to Congress in November, asserting that there is no evidence of extraterrestrial visitation to planet Earth? Well, I want to make the point. I think it's entirely possible that Dr. John Kozlowski is being lied to by people within the program who know full well what's going on. And I wouldn't be surprised if, since his November appearance, Dr. Kozlowski has been apprised of much more interesting information that perhaps has changed his perception. And it would be interesting to see him put under oath and questioned more rigorously by a Congress that is now more aggressively pursuing this subject with its bit between its teeth. I am told that there are individuals in the US Air Force who have been concealing this secret for years. It's largely driven out of the US Air Force because of the US Air Force's control of the subject since the 1940s, and indeed probably a lot earlier. Another thing I've learned very recently is that it is very, very likely that the US has had possession of non-human technology since even before 1941, Cape Girardeau, and possibly even before the Magenta object was retrieved by the Italians in the 1930s. I wouldn't be surprised if the US has had technology since the turn of last century. Go figure. But what has happened, I believe, is that there is a Presidential Executive Action Directive. I think they're called PEDS. Forgive me if I've got that acronym wrong. I really don't care. I'm sure there will be somebody who will pick me up on it. But for those of you who were following Michael Schellenberger's evidence in the Congress when he gave evidence under oath to the Congress in November, he referred to a program known as Immaculate Constellation, which, it is my understanding, is a very small part of a whole series of secret codename programs that constitute what we would call the legacy UAP program. But nonetheless, it's a very significant one. And I am now aware of who Mr. Schellenberger's source is. I realise now I was speaking to that source many, many months ago. I wish them the best. I will be protecting their confidentiality, but I can tell you, I can vouch for who they are, and I think the fact that they have come forward is extraordinarily significant. But anyway, just to make the point, when Schellenberger made the statements under oath to Congress that he believed that this Immaculate Constellation was a program that was protected by secrecy by the Defense Department, it was formally denied by the Pentagon that Immaculate Constellation is a special access program controlled by the Department of Defense. And you know what? The Pentagon's spokeswoman was telling the truth. And I suspect she knows full well what the real story is. And the real story, I am told, very, very reliably, is that there is a presidential order, action directive, whatever you want to call it, that was signed in or around 1954 by President Eisenhower that enshrined the secrecy of the legacy UAP retrieval and reverse engineering program. This has been kept a secret, even from Congress, in breach, by the way, of Article 1 of the US Constitution, which requires that Congress have oversight of everything it's paying for. This has been done in breach of those congressional oversight rules because of this somewhat lame and, I think, unsupportable presidential order since the 1950s. And I think that it's going to be a very interesting day of reckoning when Congress finally, if it ever does, develops the spine to ask the question of the White House, is there a presidential order which has essentially allowed this issue to be kept secret at White House level for many, many decades? And if that's the case, how do we justify that commanders-in-chief like Barack Obama, like Jimmy Carter, like Bill Clinton, notice they're all Democrats, asked the hard question, is there a secret UAP program? And they were told there wasn't. Certainly Obama was during his administration, and so was Clinton. But they found out differently subsequently.
Antenna.
They know they were being lied to, and they were being lied to because of this ridiculous presidential executive order. On what basis, you would ask yourself, and I'd love a constitutional lawyer to answer this question, on what basis could a former president or a previous president lock in a lie to all futures commanders-in-chief to stop them from being briefed into this program? On what basis was that a good idea? Last time I checked, America is a democracy, nominally. On what basis could a commander-in-chief requesting information about the UAP legacy program be denied that information? And that's what I'm alleging happened and continues to happen. Presidents have been lied to. Congress has been lied to. That should be an issue for the American public. And by the way, the American public should be asking themselves, what about the JFK assassination? Is there a link between the UAP issue and JFK's murder by the national security state, which I'm in no doubt happened? I do not for one moment believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone assassin, and multiple sources in the intelligence community tell me I'm right. I think when we resolve the issue of UAPs, when we blow open the JFK files, I think we're going to solve both mysteries. Okay, moving on. Next question. At DAARK, at Dark982, question for Mr. Coulthart. What is your take on why the NHI do not just reveal themselves? Do you agree with the idea that there is an agreement for delayed or complete non-disclosure? Because if true, I would find that to be somewhat confusing behaviour on behalf of the NHI. I also think that if they were waiting for us to be ready, that maybe we wouldn't be seeing them in our skies, or maybe at all. Thanks for the work you do, and hoping to hear your thoughts. Okay, Mr. Dark. I think there's a really interesting explanation that I'm beginning to hypothesise. This is only a speculative hypothesis on my part, but it is based on work that I am doing that is increasingly focusing on what I believe is a consciousness connection to the UAP phenomenon. I do think that there is a link between what we call psychic phenomena, telepathy, or psionics, as is the more neutral term that's used by the military and the defence community, I do believe that there is a connection between human psionic abilities, telepathic, psychic abilities, and consciousness, and that the UAP phenomenon is tied into that. And I suspect this is one of the largest reasons for why this is being kept secret and for why the NHI are not overtly showing themselves. And my growing hypothesis, it's just a hypothesis because there's a few things I can't tell you right now that I'm going to be reporting on in coming weeks, and I'm very excited to be bringing you that story. But I do know that the Air Force has been working on psionics for many, many decades. They never stopped investigating the power of the human mind and consciousness ever since the Stargate program and the remote viewing program. I know it's been poo-pooed. I know there's a George Clooney movie based on John Ronson's book called The Men Who Stare at Goats, and I know all the supposed debunkers say it's BS. But I can tell you, it's not BS. I've seen it for myself, and it's real. And in forthcoming weeks, you will see why I say it's real. And I believe the United States Air Force has knowingly deceived Congress, successive presidents, and the American public, and the world about what it knows for far too long. It's time for this story to be told. Now, coming back to the question from Mr. D'Arc, I think the NHI are showing themselves in our skies to twig our consciousness, to make us humans aware of capabilities that many of us don't even realise we have. And I've seen those capabilities demonstrated in recent months. I know they're real, and I frankly don't give a flying fig what the debunkers or the skeptics or the trolls would say about that. It's real, and they will soon be eating humble pie. The capacity for the human mind to engage externally with some kind of uber consciousness has been speculated about in science. Go and have a look at the work on microtubules. Let's have a look at what modern science is speculating about a quantum connection between the human brain and an external consciousness. That's where we're going in this. So what if UAPs are merely a manifestation of something that is above and around us, a consciousness? Some might call it God. Yeah, I know, this is heavy stuff. But what if the purpose
What's up, guys? This is Grant. This is Grant. So that's energy. No. Hello. Mic is on. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Mic is on. Test 1 2. Okay. Hello, guys. This is Clint. Right now I'm just doing my name. YouTube. Try to find. What's that awesome? It's me. Hello guys, please like and sub my YouTube channel. Welcome. I have 61 subs right now on YouTube. Please like and sub my YouTube channel. Welcome. Wanna play Let Me Pay Mine. What's up? How y'all doing? Come on. Well. You guys see 7 4 92 select boom. Okay, let's do it. I have an awesome day today. So what's up everyone? Peace guys. Like and subscribe. Sub my content. How do you have? Show you. That's what I have. That's what I have right now. Subs. Sissy. That's what I have right now. 61 subs. I need more subs. That's what I have right now. Subs. What's up, everyone? Hi. Hello. Hello. Hello, everyone. How's your night been? Good. Good, good. My Damon awesome. My Damon is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Awesome day today. Today is a nice day. Nice night. How's so you have what's your Christmas? What you might get for Christmas this year? Send a message in the comments, in the chat. What you okay, this chips. Was chips array. Fried food tonight. Yeah, fried food is good. Yeah, I'm just doing this is my royal stuff, like Prince-Kino, you know, like. So Christmas, I'm a cake for Christmas is clothes, maybe getting another demo royal. Well, y'all want my cake for Christmas. If you want to know, I can, what y'all want for Christmas, type in the comments. Type in the comments what you want for Christmas. So right now I have this is all top mushrooms Clinton 92. I have 61 subs right now. Come on, guys, let's get 4K subs, 900K subs. I've tried my best. I've tried my best to have a good YouTube channel, have good content, the best content ever. I'm trying to do that best I can. Just like, So I have subs. I have 61 subs right now. I need more subs, guys. Help me out on my channel, guys. Oh, what happened? What just happened? My TV just went out. Yeah, this helps. 61 subs. That's what I have. Tonight is Wednesday. What's up, Owen? Hey guys. What's up guys? What's up, Ellen? Welcome to my live stream. So this is me. So hit that like button. So it's so the name in New Jersey, the whole people say it's Jones. It's the what's called it's called it's a Sonic. It's a Sonic. It's Sonic. Uh-oh. Talk emotions. I just see a dream beneath. I tell you this, you are probably a fly open dream. Oh, it's a challenge you're morning. My you be. I just a deal very real. Well, see, I love you. What myself is feeling me. No, that's about the break. down the world, you are no. Open. It's my son. I see the face of down. What sees right away was a giant wheel. When I in my although tell one the same way I was alone.
Oshitake Mushrooms Clint 192 said, "Hey, waving hand."
Hit the sub button.
Oshitake Mushrooms Clint 192 said, "Hit the sub button."
I don't know why. And you Bud Light. Bud Light, Bud Light, Bud Light. the house. Night love and no away. Jersey. Those all good rules were set in the sun. Let's go. As a mercy, my soul, out the way, peaceful, precious, wait away, peaceful, powerful, away, powerful, voice to see, a boy die, the scar of the side of your ear. Oh, awesome. Oh, I don't care for you. Passing a busy day, take me away. Set every down. Where's the long run and where's the day I'm dead? Where's it all? Where's it? Where I ain't by the black time, birds, gore. Okay, this is myself. Country, yeah. Hill. This way, country. Where's the party hill? Country. Where's me? Country. Where will you? Well. sins down into the sun. From where please, once I you, frozen up in your vengeance, this me day, poor virgin. Whenever you so well, wow. Moment. Constraint. Hey guys. What's up? I don't know something about my body, doctor, myself, well, fast, cash, person dash, keep that much, crash, yeah, fast. Hmm.